want to see their man put the key into the trophy, grab that 1,000 points for the club championship. We'll see if he can take a concrete first step towards doing that now. This has the potential to be the last game of the first set. Will Carlsen get it over the line?
And Magnus switches it up, not allowing Alireza with a knight jump to g5. The earlier game where Magnus had first developed with his own knight, this time starts with the bishop, so taking away that possibility, making it a slower game.
This is the slow version of the Italian game, the Gyokyo piano as they sometimes call it. White pawn pushes on the queen side. He was trying to trap black's dark squared bishop. Magnus says no. He's created a nice hiding spot for it. But this is actually something we saw earlier in the event, in the clash between Wei Yi and Sindarov. In that match, it was Sindarov striking out very quickly in the center with black with a pawn push to d5, and it rebounded very, very quickly. So who's done the better homework? Who is this position going to favor? Full of tension. A good choice, I think, by Alireza Firouzja, keeping all the pieces on the board in his quest to strike back.
And again, these openings, so much about the nuances and the subtleties of where your pawns are, where your bishops are placed. Will he move it back to b3? Will he bring the rook next to that central file? Magnus has done his homework. He doesn't go for that d5 break, which was premature earlier on in the game. And h3, taking away bishop to g4, no pins there. Magnus retreats with his own bishop, and we see thematic plans being played out here.
Yeah, this is very standard stuff for the Italian game. It's all about maneuvering up until around move 20 when things often start to open up. But for now, one black knight is landing on the g6 square. Those two black knights are going to act as guardians of the black king, maybe leaping forward if given the opportunity to attack. And normally the white knight does the same. It echoes by going back to f1 and parking itself on g3. Only then will they decide what to do with the center, with the rest of their pieces.
It's sort of a slow KG start where pieces are placed at these different optimal squares, and then one side breaks. Either black goes d5 or white strikes with d4. And if you're able to get that, if white gets it successfully, gets that edge. If black's able to break out, is able to neutralize white's opening advantage. I'm expecting d4 to happen very soon.
We're talking about edges here as well. We mentioned a few times when we saw the Catalans that when one side strikes out, we see fireworks on the board really quickly, super sharp, really quite entertaining tactical chess. Are we saying that when the breaks happen here, it won't quite be as explosive because we're actually still looking for a positional edge? Is that what we're expecting?
Yes, pretty much. And talking of positional edge, it's Magnus who gets there first in the center. Normally white, because it's so symmetrical, and you get the honor of the first move in chess. You were the first one to occupy the center, but Magnus, he's trying to use some tactics in his favor to get there. And here, breaking the tension with white might just...
step forward and defend that B7 pawn. And still the attack on Alireza's weakness on C5 continues.
Alireza, he played the previous move instantly. He's gone back into the tank here. About 15-20 seconds invested and counting. Problem is that Black Bishop is so close now to breaking its way back into the game. The Black Knight coming back. The White Knight's so far unable to get in.
You know, if you have to beat Magnus Carlsen, then you need to make the most of every single aspect and element of the game. You have to be up on the clock. You have to play the opening perfectly. Middle game, try to complicate things. End game, technique on point. And so far, the biggest problem in this match for Alireza has been the clock. Because in those final moments, we've seen the blunders happen.
It's beginning to look like the way to beat Alireza in this grand final is to give him choice. Because that is what Magnus Carlsen is using against him right now. I'm going to give you choices where you're trying to calculate when maybe the position and your clock certainly is calling for you to use your intuition a little bit more. Otherwise, you risk making mistakes in another minute. And it seems like 10 times out of 10, Alireza is choosing to hard calculate instead of trusting his intuition, which is odd because his intuition is so good. That's the reason why he is such a beast when his time gets low.
Exactly, Mr. Intuition, and right now Magnus has won a pawn, the Black Bishop is out. Most importantly, if the White Rook goes to the top of the board with a check, the Black Bishop can drop back and block. That doesn't look super healthy for Magnus, but it's only temporary, and the Black Bishop is going to save the day. Alireza struggling to find any attacking resources, any follow-up to that check.
And this is concerning, right? You make a move, you give up a pawn, your opponent takes the bait, and then you again go into a tank, make a move that you're not super happy with, and it turns out to be a blunder. Alireza coming in with a double attack, but there are checks that he needs to be careful about.
He's taking massive risk here. There are two checks that are very tempting for Magnus Carlsen. The Black Rook now able to infiltrate on the first rank. Magnus leaned back. I think he spotted something. The Black Bishop can maybe even jump in and sacrifice itself. Something similar to what we showed earlier. Alireza smiling. He knows he's blundered. He spotted the refutation. Black has multiple winning moves here.
And Magnus starts with a flashy bishop takes pawn check on the board, and if this is captured, the knight will jump in with a check, forcing White's king to disconnect with the knight on g3. Knight d3 coming in, queen takes, knight coming in. Alireza cannot believe it. He's the master of tactics, but he's the one on the receiving end of this one. Magnus, super sharp today.
He's under 1 minute, he's got only a few seconds left, and look at this, walking forward with his king. He's now down 2 pawns, but this White king is simply not going to survive. The Black king, in the meantime, protected by its army. The pawn will block now, and Magnus's queen can even block, and this one is going to be over. Magnus will surely not let Firouzja back off the hook there, and there we go. It's actually checkmate to end this game.
Checkmate on the board, and it started with bishop takes f2 at 3.5 minutes, plays 1. Magnus Carlsen takes the full point, and with that, the first set in this grand